Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and this video is going to be a Photoshop basics video, and this is going to be covering one of the tools in Photoshop that a lot of people kind of steer away from because it looks kind of complicated, and that is the pen tool. It's actually a very, very powerful tool, and I'm going to show you one of the ways you could use it in this video. So we have this photo right here, and one of the things we want to do just to play around with the pen tool is to color this the P here in the word park. We want to color this P a different color. There's tons of ways of doing this, but what we want to do is make a precise selection, and what we can do with that is we can take the pen tool, make this selection, modify it a little bit, and then use that to change the color. So real quickly, I'm going to show you how to do this. Basically, the pen tool is the hard part. Changing color is actually fairly easy. So one thing we need to do is go ahead over here to the left toolbar. We're going to go ahead and click the pen tool. You can also use the shortcut key P. And what we're going to do is kind of make the selection around this curve. The curves are actually kind of hard to do. If this was the letter A that we were doing this to, we could actually use the polygonal lasso tool or something like that, or the or any of the other magnetic lasso tools. We can use that as well because it's all straight lines, straight corners, stuff like that. But this one has a curve in it, so we really need to be careful with our selection. So the first thing I'm going to do is click right here at the bottom. I'm going to click there, and it's going to create a little anchor point. Now for this stem back here, I'm going to go ahead and create another anchor point there. And then here's where we need to start playing with the curve. So over here, I'm going to go to right around where it keeps going straight here. I'm going to click here again, and it's going to make a right angle basically to where I can start making my curve. Now you can see I have my fill turned on up here to a color, a blue color. What we can do is just go ahead and click there and change it to transparent, so that way we can see the line and see what we're doing. Now we can just undo that there. Now what we need to do is start with our curve. So I'm going to go down to right around here, and I'm going to click, and it makes a straight line. But here we can click and hold, and then as we hold, we can kind of drag it around, and we can make this like curved selection here. So we can just follow the curve. If we drag out, it gets a little bit more pitch to it. We can drag to the left or right basically, and that gives a little bit more rotation to it. So we can just try to match that curve as much as possible. So now that we've done that, we unclick that or let go of the mouse. And now we can start with our other curve here. So we can click down here. You can do the same thing. You can see we kind of messed up there a little bit. So what we'll do is go ahead and do a Command Z to undo. We'll do another Command Z to undo. And what we can do is, again, try to match that curve to right around there. It takes a little bit of playing to know how the pen tool will react to the way you drag, but you will get used to it. It's just basically practice. So now we can go over here and do the same thing. We can click there. We can see we kind of messed up again. We can just Command Z to undo. One thing I want to show you about with these little anchor points here, you get these little nodules that come off of here. And what this is doing is allow you to kind of redirect where the tool will go. So for example, if I hold the Option key on my keyboard, you're going to see if I hover over this little node here, it turns into a little arrow. Here I'm able to click on that and drag it around. And this is going to tell my pen tool what direction I need to go. So I need to go this direction, so I'm just going to kind of get it and go in a little bit more that way. And here I can take my pen tool, click over here again, and I can better follow that curve of the P. So same thing with here. I need to go straight down. If I were to try to go straight down now, it's not going to do it. No matter which way I do it, it's not going to go straight down. So I need to take this little handle over here, click the arrow, drag it down, and now when I click in the bottom, it makes a more straight line. And now I can just click over here, and we finalized the selection there. So easy as that was. Now what we can do is make this a selection. There's a couple ways to do this. One of the ways is actually to hover over the path that you draw and right click on it and say make selection. When you do that, you're going to get this make selection dialog box. This allows you to play with the feather of the radius. So if you want it a little bit more give, you can actually change the feather. I usually keep it around 1 or 2, nothing major, and then I click OK, and now that is a selection. So now if I were to create a new layer here, get my brush and just kind of paint this in with that color, just like that, then it just paints into that selection that we just made. And now I can go over here to color, and there we go. It's a different color. Change the opacity a little bit, and now it's a more blue or pink, purple color instead of the red. So now what we can do is undo that or deselect that using Command D, and then we can go back to our path here and click the pen tool. And now we can kind of knock out the inner part here. So we're going to do the same thing, click here, and start following that curve all the way around, dragging it around, just like that. If you're familiar with the pen tool in Illustrator, it acts very much the same way. So just like that, and we'll go ahead and right click, make selection, we'll feather it with 1. And here I'm just going to get the eraser tool, go back up to my color layer, get the eraser tool, and just erase that away. And there we go. So easy as that was, very, very easy to do. So you can see we also have a little bit of red showing in here, but that was just an example to show you the pen tool in action. But that's basically how you use the pen tool. Again, it's just a matter of playing with it in Photoshop, seeing how it acts when you rotate the mouse or move the mouse around. Very, very powerful tool for selecting very complex objects or even straight lines. You could do it that way as well. But that's the basics of using the pen tool in Photoshop. Thank you for joining me in this video. This has been Jordan from Sleeklens, and I'll see you in the next one.